Hello students, in the last part we discussed about how to prepare for technical written examination and technical round of the interview. In this part, we are going to discuss how to go about preparing in order to excel in the aptitude test, group discussion and interview. As far as aptitude test is concerned, more often than not, you are going to find it as the first hurdle, be it your in-campus placement process or any other selection process. And it's a good idea to prepare for it, because otherwise you'll find yourself out of the race even before you begin it. An aptitude test generally contains of 4 sections: quant, reasoning, data interpretation and English. As far as English is concerned, you'll be tested on the grounds of the strength of your vocabulary, grammar and reading comprehension. People who are not good in English, say people who are from state boards, who are more comfortable in vernacular languages, may do better if they start early and start preparing for English tests in the first year itself. They can subscribe an English daily and go through the basics of grammar using books like Gradin Martin. It's of utmost importance that you make your grammar impeccable. The company may also test you on your drafting skills. They may ask you to write an essay or an email, so make sure you have some writing practice too. As far as maths, reasoning and data interpretation is concerned, people who are not that good in maths or not from maths background must join a program, a coaching, or practice themselves pretty regularly, at least for a year or so. People who are from maths background still needs to practice, at least for 4 or 5 months. Because there is a difference between maths and aptitude. There is a difference in how you are going to solve the question. The mindset. Here you will be provided with options. You should be aware of the opportunities when to use them. You should be aware of the short tricks and other methods to preserve time and save some time for yourself, because here time is of essential value. Apart from helping you get into the interview phase in your in-campus selection process, being good in aptitude also creates many positive externalities, because aptitude is a part of almost every selection process, be it banking, SSC, UPSC, armed forces, etc. Hence, if you're good in English, quant, reasoning and GS, more often than not, you'll find yourself in the interview, be it corporate sector or public sector. Now moving on to the next aspect, that is soft skills. When it comes to soft skills, a lot of talented students get rejected just because they cannot express themselves well enough. Any company looks for an employee that can express and communicate well enough. Because just being technically sound is not enough. A case in point is an IT company who has a client in USA. It will be part of your job profile to communicate with the client and get the demands accurately. Coding is only 20% of the project. The rest of the project involves works like testing, getting the functional requirements, constant updating, and hence it's of utmost importance that we get the demands of the client accurately. Otherwise, if we start coding on the wrong demands, we will end up not only wasting a lot of time but also a lot of money. In most companies, you'll be directly facing the interview stage, but in some, you will have to go to the phase of group discussion first. Make sure you learn about the process of GD and the basic do's and don'ts. You should know the difference between a group discussion and a debate. There are various roles that you can play in a discussion. The roles that can help you highlight the various facets of your personality that the recruiting company may find useful and attractive. For example, it's not only about communication. Definitely, communication is a part of this group discussion and you will be judged on it. But you can also showcase your leadership qualities in it. But while you are doing so, make sure that you are not coming through as someone who is dominant and a bully. You can also showcase your skills of listening, which is a rarity nowadays. You can also showcase your skills and will to work with others. Be a team player. Apart from group discussion, some companies may also ask you to give a presentation. Because nowadays, in most of the jobs, you might have to give a presentation sooner or later. Hence, it will be a good idea to join a program to hone your skills in group discussion and presentation. This program may be formal institute, or you may make a group of friends wherein you can hone these skills of yours. Now coming to the interview phase, which is more often than not definitely a part of the campus recruitment. Well, it goes without saying that you should be appropriately dressed for the occasion. Your posture should be appropriate, the way you move in, the way you sit. You should have the right amount of confidence. But herein I will discuss and focus more on the cognitive aspect of the interview. Just like any other job or work, if you start well, it's half the job done. Hence, it's of utmost importance that you have the right kind of answer already prepared for questions like, tell me about yourself. Because once you start well, it will give you ample amount of confidence to carry on with the rest of the interview. Also, you should be well prepared for tricky questions like, why your percentages vary so much across the 4 years or 3 years, depending on the course you are enrolled in. Why there is a gap after 12th and the year of your joining the college. Why you are interested in joining an IT company while you are in the mechanical branch or civil branch. You should have right kind of appropriate answers well prepared. Answers that can justify your strength, your action, and satisfy the interviewer. More often than not, you will ask in the interview about your strengths and weaknesses, about your career goals, both short term and long term. Make sure that you have ready-made answers prepared already for these kind of questions. Also, as discussed in the first part of this series, the CV will make the most critical part of the interview. Most of your interview will revolve around the information that you have already provided in this document. It will also help you to control the interview. Make sure that the examiner asks you the questions that you want them to ask. Try to play on your strengths. Though it might take a lot of practice and introspection on your part, but it will pay off well if you are able to pull it off. For example, if you are asked regarding your strengths, you may answer that you are a good team player. You find it very easy to work with people and vice versa. But try to justify your answer. At least add some information that may arise the curiosity of the interviewer. For example, you may say that I am a good team member, good team player, and I have pulled my team out of crisis many times. Now, just adding this extra line will raise the curiosity of at least one of the interview member, the person who is taking the interview. It might force the interviewer to ask a follow-up question, asking you to illustrate or give an example to justify what you have said. Now you are forcing the interviewer to play on your pitch. Now you can give the interview panel the answer that you have already prepared. Give them an example. But make sure that there is no contradiction in what you are saying through the example and what you are projecting as a value. For example, you are trying to showcase yourself as a good team player. If Mr. X gives an example, for example, he says that we were a member of a team. We were a team of 4 or 5 people. We were doing a project, and I was the only one who was good in coding. So I carried the other guys and helped them to secure good marks in the project. Or he might say that my team was in the crisis in a cricket match final, and I batted well and won the match for my team. Now, this might show him as a good batsman or a good coder, but it doesn't show him as a good team player, though he was trying to project himself as a good team player. So there is a contradiction now. Make sure there is no such kind of contradiction in your CV or the examples you are giving to justify your claims. For example, you might say that you were a team of around 4 or 5 members, and one of them was not good in communication or in presentation skills. But we make sure that he participates in the final presentation because we knew that it's not only about marks, it's also about career growth and personal growth of all of our team members. This might give a good impression to the interview panel that you are not only interested in the goal, but also you are interested in the members you are working with. You are also going to contribute and add value to the company that you will work in. Now, apart from the in-campus placement process, I must add on that you will do yourself a favor to not get yourself pigeonholed, because there are many other aspects and career options available apart from in-campus placements. You might go for an off-campus placement. There are many opportunities available in public sectors, in other government jobs. So it's always a good idea to keep yourself aware, get some career counseling to know that what are the avenues that you can work in and that match your skill as well as will. But having said that, make sure that you master the art of aptitude. You hone the skills of your communication. you practice enough group discussions and give enough interviews, because these are the skills that are required in any selection process. In this series of videos, I have discussed the basics of the various stages that are required to be conquered for one to get selected in his dream job. In the later videos, we will delve more into the various stages like GD interview and aptitude test. Till then, goodbye and thank you.